There's some scientist named Grimes, did some report on how long it would take for a hoax as big as the moon landings to come out. And he basically said, and this is what you'll see everywhere, is that within 5 years, the moon landings would have been exposed. Okay? So I've heard that said over and over again, and people on Globe Believer channels will always say that. And I said, well, let me go look at this article really carefully and see, is that really what he says? So you look at the article, and he says that for a plot to last for 5 years, that all of NASA, when he said that it would last only 4 years, he was saying that all of NASA was in on it. Well, not one of us believes that. Not one person believes that everybody at NASA was involved in the moon hoax. So I started to say, well, did the numbers change? Well, he keeps going down. He says for any plot to last 5 years, only 2,500 people would have to be on the conspiracy. For it to last more than 10 years, you have to have fewer than 1,000 people in on the conspiracy. And for it to last 100 years, you have to have less than 125 collaborators. Well, that's exactly what we're saying. We're saying that only the astronauts and very few people knew. How do we know that? What about all those guys, Jaron, sitting at the consoles? Didn't they know what was going on? Wouldn't they know? They're sitting looking at data. Well, how about Apollo Flight Commander Gene Kranz, who told us in the late 60s our simulation technology had progressed to the point where it became virtually impossible to separate the training from actual missions. The simulations became full dress rehearsals for the missions down to the smallest detail. It tested out the crews and controllers' responses to normal and emergency evacuations, checked out the exact flight plan and procedures, and it says down at the bottom, quote there, the simulations were so real that no controller, so nobody sitting at any console or any computer, could discern the difference between the training and the real mission. So there's nobody, so yeah, based on this guy Grimes' study, if there was less than 125 people who knew about the moon landing conspiracy, it could last 100 years. So unfortunately, we've probably got another 50 years that we're going to have to deal with that lie.
So they build stuff, they put it on this vehicle, they launch it up into the sky, and if you do like a time lapse of these launches, you'll see a very profound arc. Doesn't look like they're going up into space, they go whoop, like that. But they saw the device that they just built get put on that thing and go up. And then NASA loses contact with everything they send up over the Indian Ocean.
Orion's journey is just beginning. As the spacecraft and the upper stage begin their first lap around Earth, Mission Control in Houston is monitoring the progress of the flight. Orion's over 100 miles up and going about 17,000 miles per hour. Just as it passes over the Indian Ocean, we lose communication.
The simulations were so real that no controller could discern the difference between the training and the real mission.
This is expected. The communications link we have through satellites to Orion is momentarily lost.
That's convenient.